Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy. I could see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy.
Jamil, I remember in 2006 when you decided to go to Atlanta. I wasn't really excited about you going, but I saw that you were determined to go. Because when you were on your way, the car broke down, and you got out of your car and got into your cousin's car and had your car towed back home and kept going to Atlanta. And then from there, I just saw how you began to bloom. And you had your ups, you had your downs. And even though I was here and you were there, I was still just a phone call away. And we talked every day. It's just been exciting to see how you've grown, how you've changed your way of thinking, how you've enlightened me in your journey, how you've shared so much knowledge, and you've taught me so much. You've taught me how to think for myself. You've taught me how to investigate for myself and seek out the truth. And that's something that I never did before. And I'm really grateful for that. It has taken a lot of courage for you to do the things you've done. You have made me proud. I'm excited for you. I love you. I admire you. You encourage me to pursue the best me that I could possibly be. In all that I do, I share with you. And I'm grateful for that, and I love you.
Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy. I could see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy.
Good morning. Let me get this. There we go. Let me get this brightened up so you can see my bright face. Quiana Coral's got her bright face on because it evidently must be sunny in Indianapolis.
No, actually, I just have a good ring light.
You, ma'am, just happen to be one of the most pettiest people on Saturday morning. Thank you very much. I got a ring light. My ring light's better than yours.
I never said that.
Why does it always got to be a competition with you? Gee whiz. Let me turn up my light. Bam. Good morning, Quiana Corals.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh man, this it's gonna probably be a fairly more upbeat show than the last couple ones. Not gonna lie, took a little bit out, took a lot out of me rather, to lose my auntie. She stood in the gap and took the place of my daddy when he wasn't there for, his reasons. But nonetheless, we move forward and we celebrate the life of those that came before us, especially those that made a good mark, a good impression. As a matter of fact, I had a good conversation with one of the good friends to the show, Chandra Jean. She was talking about how she got a message from a student at her job, and they were basically giving her props for all of the work that she's done in their school career. And I said, it feels good to be one of those people that you made a difference in somebody's life, as people did in your lives, as in our lives as children. And the word for the day for my portion of the show is going to be pride. And I take pride in being an example or being some type of pivot for somebody to move up. I pride myself behind helping people. Now, I may not help everybody. I help those that I can and those that I see that have a desire to do for themselves. You can't help somebody do for themselves if they don't want to make a move. You end up using up all your gas. So shout out to all of those that are out here making a difference in people's lives. You are needed. And although sometimes you look at people, certain in certain institutions, he be like, I'm not gonna give you no information. Um, sometimes it's best to withhold some information, but a lot of times, if you see somebody that's looking to make moves and looking to better themselves, it is in some of a sense your duty to do what people did for you, because nobody makes it on their own, whatever making it is. But nonetheless, shout out to Shishi. Congratulations, and we applaud you for all of your efforts
Yay.
in the 9 to 5 and outside the 9 to 5. And good morning to the mama of the show. Glad you both woke up and are here with us today. You see the bags under my eyes because I remember I woke up late. You ever had that one of them dreams that it's really intense, and either you fighting, you fleeing, or you saving somebody or something, a cat, a dog, I don't know, a chihuahua puppy that eats human food. And the dream is so intense, and then something tells you, hey, this is a dream. It's time to get up. You got to go to work. You got things to do. You got an appointment. Get up. And you's like, I hear you. This could potentially be a dream, but I got to save this chihuahua that just ate this whole pizza. My imagination all over the place. But anyway, good morning, Quiana.
Good morning.
I don't hear the pit bull of the show walking around. You get her nails cut?
She's downstairs.
Did you go get her a
downstairs with
manicure and a
the
pedi?
kids.
What do dogs
She did
get?
get
Pedicures or
groomed.
manicures?
I don't know. Paula cures. Boom, boom, psh. I don't
Oh, hold on. Paula Cures, brought to you by.
Yeah, that's going down in my idea book.
Come bring your mutt or your dog or your pig or your
Chihuahua
beaver.
that eats human
Your
food.
chihuahua, they eat steak. Bring them down.
Yeah, to get a Paula cure.
Yeah, because their cholesterol is high. Their arteries are clogged. They probably don't have. You know what? I get sad when I see old dogs.
You know what? I do too. I do too. My cousin, he bred pits. So, and his pits were beautiful. And he had this pit that everybody knew in the family, and his name was Bullet. And he was like this pretty gray color, right? So I didn't realize that Bullet was that old. And like we were over there one week, and he was just like, he had been to the vet, and he had like these huge bumps, like lumps over him that they had to have bandaged up because he was bleeding. He was moving slow,
Mm.
and he wasn't Bullet. And then like maybe 2-3 weeks later, I had spoken to my cousin, and he was commenting on my dog, on a Feeny, and I said, so how's Bullet? He was like, man, we had to get Bullet put down. And I said, for real? Like, it did something to me. I was like, seriously? Like, Bullet had been around for a very long time, but he wasn't rocking and rolling no more. But he got himself another pet. He rescued. You could tell that he had been abused, and then they clipped his ears too. It was a pit, and they clipped his ears too low. Like, so his ears were like little nubs, and I was
Mm.
just okay. I
So
digress.
my cousin had a Rottweiler named Bullet, and shout out to the Combs home. Shout out to my brethrens, my brothers, Papa Combs and Mama Combs, and Boog, Chuck, Red, and the bigger brother James. Shout out to all of them, man. I love y'all. Y'all took me in, and then we became family because you married into my family. So That's a prideful moment for me there. But anyway, they had a dog called Bullet. Bullet was a Rottweiler who looked like a muscular Danny DeVito. I'm talking about Bullet was muscles on top of muscles on top of muscles. And Bullet was so smart. Like, he would tease you like, I'm about to fuck you up. And he would jump on the fence. Paws would be in the grooves, and you like, he's about to get. But then Bullet be like, nah, I'm just playing. I eat good over here. I ain't gonna mess with y'all, but I'm gonna scare you a little bit. But Bullet.
And was he mixed with something?
Yeah, mixed with Killer. That's what he was mixed with.
Because a lot of Rottweilers, well, I guess it depends on the breed, but it's a lot of Rottweilers that are like, they get fluffy. Like,
Nah, he I think he was German, maybe? He didn't, his
but
hair
like,
was super low. And
because Robert has a German Rot, and German Rots get really, really, they get big, but
I'm talking about
you
Bullet
know,
looked like he was doing the prison pull-up program. Bullet's back in the backyard with a chain this thick around his neck. Tell me, I'm busting out of here, boy. One day he do this, then he come right there and do it. You see, he had ripped abs and everything. I was like, what is wrong with this dog?
he do them Harlem, New York on the corner straight light pull-ups.
What they call the bartenders? Yeah, he was doing push-ups with one arm. And he was only good around the family. Like, although I grew up with Bullet. I grew up with them. I think I met Chuck and Boog and Red. I think I met them probably junior high. And then we really got tight. I think 8th grade going into freshman year. And then we just kept kicking it from there. I never petted Bullet. Me and Bullet had a mutual respect for one another. But when I tell you Bullet ate the best soul food 7 days a week, baby, I'm talking beans, greens, potatoes, hams. Bullet was that dude. And Bullet was like 1,000,000 years old, but he never looked it in his face. And then one day, Bullet wasn't even sick. I just got the notice. Hey, Bullet dead. Bullet passed. What happened? He was just on the side of the house, tapped out. He was done.
Dang.
And all of the dogs that I was around growing up, I never seen that old look in the face. And then as I became an adult, I saw a lot of dogs with that have life in their face, and then their face starts to wilt a little bit, and then they get this look like, I'm through here. My time is done. That ain't even a joke, but I get sad when I see older dogs. But nonetheless, that's one thing's for certain, is you come in and you got to go. So shout out to all the dogs that everybody loves across the world. Shout out to the 2 bullets in this story.
It was just this past week was National Dog Day?
Was it? I don't have
or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think this past week it was one of the days was National Dog Day or whatever, and I posted a video of a feeding. Like, I've posted 2 videos. One video was of her grabbing her brush. She knows how to grab her brush when she wants to be brushed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was of her opening up the back door because she knows how to open and close.
I saw that.
Not open and close.
Open the screen door.
She knows how to. She knows how to open and let herself in and out. And we had a lady that came to cut our. She came over to cut our grass, right? So as I'm standing out back giving her instructions on what I want cut or whatever, I forgot to lock the back door. So a Feeny opens the door and comes like, she's very territorial. So she comes charging out the door, and I had to hurry up and grab her by her collar. And the look, it's not funny, but the look on the lady's face was like
her soul left her body.
Her soul left. Okay, it left. And so I took Afeni in the house, and this is what made it funny is after I put Afeni in the house, then the lady is just like, she's the smart cutie, huh? She's so smart and cute. Right, right. And that's Afeni behind the glass in the house.
I'm gonna show you smart. Feeny came out there like a nosy grandparent. You gonna cut this grass or not? Wait a minute. I'm just making. Last time she came, she left my playpen all jacked up. Yeah, you know, I got a friend, Jamor. Shout out to Jamor. He probably don't listen to my show, but Jamor in college had a cat that could open the door. Now back then, I think we partied a lot. We drank a lot. And in Terre Haute, we would go pregame in his apartment, I think, a couple times. Then we go somewhere. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, this door open, and then this cat just do-doo, 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 do-doo. So from that day on, I realized if I were to ever have any pets, and they were smart enough to open doors, that's the day they get given away. You're not about to be opening doors. Do you pay anything? No. The kids can't even open doors. Like, you want to go in there? Okay, let daddy. Even though I don't got no kids, I'm just saying, don't be opening no doors around here. And you can't speak English. I mean, you as a matter of fact, your native tongue is meow. No, that cannot be translated, Trixie.
Well, listen, my dog understands me very well, and I talk to her like I talk to my kids. I really do. Get your ass off my couch.
I bet you do.
Go on in there, get in the bed, go lay down somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And can't nobody else talk to her like that. You let me come in there and lay your. Oh, never mind. Stay up. You want some table food, Quiana? What you got? Got some donuts. Dog love donuts. Yeah, they give them worms, but they absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Nobody else talks to her like that but me.
Boy. All right, let's get to the topics of today. I want to know the opinions of the audience. We've been raised to believe, when I say we, I'm speaking of my people, that pride is bad. It's bad to have pride. I was in a barbershop earlier in the week, and a J. Cole song came on, and he was, "Pride is the devil. I think it got a hold on me." And my barber's like, "Boy, your pride is the devil. It's the devil." And it just started to circulate in my mind. And then I just flashed back and thought of every instance where somebody was like, yeah, that person's too prideful, or pride got the best of them. So I want to know from you guys, before I give my spill on it, do you think, believe that pride is bad? Ready, set, go. Tell me. Tell me what you want.
Your pride is getting the best of you right now.
Yeah, just start throwing it around. Yeah, you know that's his pride. He boo-booed on himself because his pride. That's all that was. What? Ask Feeny. Say, Feeny, is pride bad for you? Is it bad to be prideful, Feeny? Never mind. Go back to sleep. Never mind.
Yeah.
Anybody.
No, you
somebody.
And I had this conversation yesterday.
Everybody. Scream. Okay. So she says yes and no. Please expound in a nice social media, less than 124 characters.
You can't put no,
I'm putting Twitter restrictions out there.
Characters.
Give me an answer, but you're only limited to 124 characters. Because I want to get it. I want to, one thing that you can pick certain things, certain attributes from people, from conversations. And one thing that I take away from one of Martin Luther King's speeches, it's always, let's get the verbiage right. Let's get the words, the wording right, because a lot of times we use words that have a definition masked on it by the institutions and organizations that gave us these words. Mm-hmm. So when you look at different cultures, like I talked to my friend that's from Ghana, there's certain words in the English language that no other languages just don't have. So, for instance, the English language translates this proverb that says ignorance is evil to ignorance is bliss. There's nothing blissful about being ignorant. So when you get the verbiage right, then you start seeing what these words actually mean. For instance, entertainment. We think entertainment is just to shake our butts and have fun. Entertainment is a science. Enter is to go inside. Tain is to control. And ment means mind. So we think this outer shell that we've been taught that this word means, this buffer, it means this. Get in it, have fun, don't have any worries about any type of attributes that come along with this form. It's just there to do whatever. Be artistic, be free, be detrimental, whatever. Do whatever you want because it's just this. Meanwhile, the people that gave you that, the organizations that gave you that definition are in the background manipulating the minds, manipulating the resources while you are in front doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got Gayla Robinson. She chimes in. She says, depends on the situation. You can be prideful for achieving something, but you can be too prideful to help or ask for help. Good answer. Happy early birthday, by the way. Happy early birthday. Okay. And now, certain situations, pride will keep someone from maybe apologizing, but now that I think about it, it's not pride. It could be fear of rejection in regards to making amends. But we will say they are too prideful. You are on you're going exactly where I'm going. Okay. New York's in the house. What's up, Brooklyn? Yo, what up, baby?
Cha-cha.
Nah, this is my guy, Everard Horn, straight out of the BK.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's right. Okay.
Word.
I was trying to get.
Yeah, Ev go to sleep in his butterscotch Timbs. Those are his flip-flops, son. No, I'm just playing. What's up, Ev?
You gonna keep on messing with me. Them Harlem goons, Brooklyn goons, them Bronx goons.
Yeah. Ev says, they say pride is the devil, but they say to take pride in your work. Which is it? Bam. So we got a good conversation going. Okay. And morning to you. Good morning to you. So, anybody else before I go into this spiel? Going once, going twice, gone. So, do you want to say something?
Maybe.
Okay, well, do you want to say something?
I was just gonna say what was discussed before, but I think that the words are I think that the word can sometimes be used out of context in that of the.
Okay, she just disappeared on this. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get the verbiage right, okay? We're gonna wait for Q Curls to come back, but I'm gonna start. So a lot of times we confuse ignorance, being egotistical, insecurities, dysfunction, high levels of toxic. Go ahead, Quiana. I'll let you.
Did you just Kanye West me?
No, you Kanye West yourself, and so in order to keep the show going, I jumped in and but go ahead. I'm gonna take a back seat and let you go.
No, I didn't touch anything. I didn't touch anything.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just
I have my hands to
stopped.
myself. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying though.
No, I mean, that was it. I just think that we sometimes we use both words interchangeably, and it's
And
not
the reason why we do that is because of what was handed to us. We have to remember, man, we are 4 people away from slavery. My generation in 2021. You got me, you got my mama and my father, you got their mother and their father, and then you have their mother and their father. You're in
your
slavery.
granddaddy's granddaddy, if you will.
So, what was our language? Nobody knows. A lot of us don't know. We had to learn English, which a lot of scholars say the English language is a spell. When you get to the etymology of a lot of these words, they don't mean what you were taught that they meant. It's not a surprise. It's not a surprise at all. But, so what I was saying, I'm going to finish what I was saying. A lot of times we confuse ignorance, being egotistical, insecurities, dysfunction, and toxicity. We confuse those with pride. And the list goes on and on and on. Let me give you a definition of pride. Consciousness of one's own dignity, being especially proud of a particular quality or skill, being prideful of who you are, where you come from, these things. That's what pride is. Pride isn't any of these other attributes that you step on yourself, you get in your own way. And when you look at when you look at the things that we participate in, nobody's perfect. Again, we are not that far away from slavery, so all of us are still dealing with remnants of slavery. You can look outside your window, you can look on the internet, you can look on the television, you can listen to the radio, and you will hear a lot of us are still comfortable with being slaves. Sure, you don't have chains around your neck. You got them around your brain. You have to have a supreme lack of pride to support music that celebrates your death. You go to black businesses all over the place. You go to all these things that we circumvent, that we go in and out, and it has the word trap on it. How did we make trap good? It's a trap. You think the bunnies that get trapped, the foxes that get trapped, the coyotes that get trapped, because they trying to get some food, but the people are trying to make them food. They make them a trap, and we make trap music, and we love trap music and Jesus. You have to have a supreme lack of pride in not only yourself, but your ancestors. And when you say the ancestors, it kind of gets gray because people, especially religious people, they be like, oh, that ain't God. That's you, doofus. Every cell in your body is comes from the previous versions of you. That is the epitome of self-hate. You hate yourself so much that you hate your past selves. And you don't even know them. You refuse to learn who you once were. And so what happens when you have pride? When you have pride, when you're taught pride, when you're indoctrinated with pride, you don't feel a reason to kill each other, do you? I think about the days when I used to go to the club. You go to the club, an establishment, especially, and you have to have been a clubber. And I'm talking me and my partner, we went to all the clubs. We went to the black clubs, we went to the white clubs, we went to the Asian clubs, the African club. Like we went everywhere. And we noticed the big difference between all of those clubs or all of those nights. And it was on our night that everything cost the most. You go to the international night, you go to the white night, you go to the African night, you go to the whatever, the foreign nights, cost maybe $5 to get in. Dope drink specials. You music was just all over the place a lot of times. There was a lot of our music in there. But then when you go to our night, off top, it's going to be $25 to get in. It's going to be about $30 to park. And each drink is going to cost you about $20. And somebody's getting killed. Or at the least, somebody's getting punched. At the least. Now, me and my friends, we're in there trying to be fly, looking for the ladies. But you had some dudes that's in there that if you accidentally step on their shoes in a pitch dark space that's crowded and everybody's been drinking, you're probably going to get beat up. Or at least you're going to get in a fight. Or it's going to be some words exchanged instead of just, my bad, bro, let me get you a drink. I'm sorry. It's dark. We're in a closet. And we're drunk. People have more pride in merchandise than they do human life. And one thing that's been pushed to us is merchandise over morals. Now, oftentimes when I speak to people that love using the word morals, a lot of times are the most immoral, why am I keep saying immoral people, or they have lived lives full of immorality, if that's a thing. But I'm speaking of, you listen to the things that have been played, that's been pumped to the children. And even when I was a kid, I didn't realize, the human brain doesn't fully develop until 25. So I wasn't necessarily connecting the dots on none of this stuff because it just was a trend. Everybody was doing it. Your biggest influencers are your friends from 0 to 14. And that carries on in most cases. So you're influenced by how you dress, how you socialize, everything that constitute culture. A, is political, and B, it's supposed to be a representation of who you are, which should help to develop a higher sense of pride. But when you look at the things that are fed to us, and it's not by us, I don't care how many BETs you have, we don't own BET. They'll put a BET face in the executive group as the president. They don't make no calls. Ultimately, Viacom and these other big institutions wants to push poison down to us, and we take it like, you got some ice to put in there? I want some more. That was delicious. I don't know what's going on with Q Quarrels. What's going on? Your video not showing. But anyway, so pride is a word that has been packaged improperly and handed to us, and I've heard throughout my life that pride is bad, when really it was another attribute. It wasn't pride. I had a conversation with my mom, and I was breaking down why it's easy for me to disassociate myself with people that can't respect boundaries. And I don't care if you're friends or family. Once you start continuously and habitually overstepping your boundaries with a grown man, I'm no longer a child, then I must disassociate myself from you, because you're not going to bully this over here. The only how that was able to take place in my life was because once I started to develop a higher sense of self, I started to develop knowledge of self, which gave me pride. So I say all that to say a lot of these kids don't have pride. They've been taught that it's the devil, that it's bad to have. Pride is what keeps people from doing this and doing that, when really it's insecurity based off of the trauma that you've experienced as a child. So you rather not ask for help because you know what hearing no from people that you love feels like. That's traumatizing. So I'm not going to ask you for no help because I don't want you to tell me. I know there's a possibility that you'll tell me yes, but there's also a possibility that you tell me no, which I can just do this all by myself, knowing that you really need help. I'm not going to reach out and call this person. Again, that's insecurities. That might even be egotistical. That might even be you being narcissist. I mean, there's so many other words that pinpoint what the cause is, and pride isn't it. In so many cases, we lack pride in so many institutions. I mean, so many instances. And once you start develop, and that's not saying you're going to kick into this overnight, and nobody's perfect. But once you recognize certain things about yourself, some of the things that you are lacking, that you want, there's so many elements of intelligence and mental health and all this stuff that I want to continue to reach for. Again, we not that far from slavery, people. Go outside. We doing crate challenges in the middle of a hellacious situation where, you know, these organizations and institutions are threatening to violate you by forcing things on you. And we out here doing jumping jacks on crates, getting sent right to the hospital. That don't mean, I don't know what that means. I just, whatever. If you want to bust your ass, go bust your ass. I would bust my ass in private if I was going to do some. Anyway, but the more pride we have in ourselves, in our people, in our history, just in information altogether, you'll see a big difference. You'll see a shift in certain things. So you look at the youth, it's not hard for them to kill each other. It's not hard. You say something about somebody's mama, which they've never met your mama, and even if they did, that was a defense mechanism, because if we start joning, the first thing I'm going to is, yeah, your mama. Not that I mean harm against your mother. I don't know your mother in most cases, but I know that's going to get you off of me when I don't feel like joning. Like, oh, yeah, for real? Yeah, your mother. That's the easiest way to get somebody off of you. That don't mean we should fight. I don't want to fight you. I got things to do. Hell, I can't even cross people over no more at this age. I might hurt my own self. Oh, snap. I don't know what's happening with Quiana. I don't know what's going on over there. But, nonetheless, let's try to get her back on. I don't think it's going to work. Hey, what's going on?
Listen, I don't know what is going on. So my 5G is not working for some odd reason. I don't know what's going on with my
5G
internet.
is too prideful. It thinks it's better 4 and 3G.
Obviously, I don't know what's going on. I know we had a really bad storm and the service was out a couple days ago, but it was restored and it's been on long enough for me to work from home. Now all of a sudden it wants to act crazy on this Saturday.
Yeah, that could be it. What's up, Cuz and Whitley? What's up? What's out? Glad you can wake up and get with the Jamel Harley Morning Show this morning. Yeah, that's probably what's going on. My mama just texted. She said it's probably the weather. But the show still go on because it looks sunny outside here.
We're not gonna go through this pettiness right now.
No, we're not. So, did you have anything to add to the pride? I mean, I'm pretty much wrapped up. I just wanted to get that point out. So, and here's what happens. This is why we have to be careful with the people that we listen to, because things are subconsciously planted in your in your subconscious, in your brain. So it's good to indoctrinate and plant things subconsciously in the brain when it's vital nutrients. So now everybody that has heard this and everybody that's going to listen to this, even if you don't agree, I don't give a damn about nobody agreeing or disagreeing. Listen to the logic. And now anytime you fix yourself to say the P word, the pride words, the pride that did this, you're going to be like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, maybe that's just narcissism. Yeah. And then that'll start making you reflect on yourself and be like, I need to search for a deeper sense of self-pride. I need to search for a deeper sense of cultural pride, ethnic pride. Pride. I need to feel better about my accomplishments and myself. And even if I haven't made the accomplishments that I want to, pride myself in putting the work in so that after I've mastered whatever it is, I can look back and I can see the my work, you know. But anyway, go ahead. What was you saying? She said I was petty.
He is. He know he is. No, that's it. That's it. It's like I said before. I just feel like sometimes we just use those words interchangeably.
Mm-hmm. Sort of similar how we
So
use the phrase ignorance is bliss. We say that and be like, oh, ignorance is bliss. That makes me cringe. That's like scratching a chalkboard with your fingernails. Because there's love is blissful. Being in love is blissful. Enjoying the talents that you've gained or that you were born with, that's blissful. But being ignorant, you are controlled. You are controlled by the things you know nothing about. So to be happily controlled, that's blissful. So many times I have conversations with people, and I'm the type, I want to get down a lot of times to the actual root of everything. So when you talking to me, I'm Googling and I'm just
right,
researching. It might be a quick one, but before when people talk, they be like, other day right. Or they be like, you know what I'm saying? When they interject that, I start backing up from the conversation. Because in most cases, I don't want to openly agree with you, and I'm not even familiar with what you're talking about. So I was talking to my guy the other day, Cha-Cha. We was talking the other day, and he was talking something. And while we talking, I'm Googling it because I want it to make sense to me. I do that with everybody.
right.
Like you be in the barbershop and people be arguing, and I'm like, well, why are we arguing? Why don't we go to Google? Let's look up this stuff. And here's one thing that's pretty apparent: how people want to remain, for lack of a better word, ignorant. Because as soon as you mention Google, oh, so you get that from the internets. Oh, that's like it's the equivalent to going to the library and funneling through what's that called? What's that called? When you got to pull the drawer out and go flipping through all the titles for the books. That's how long it's been since I've been to a library because I just order books. I don't. Anyway.
I know what you're talking about, though.
See, you know what I'm talking about too.
Yes.
But instead of doing that
process,
you just type in keywords and then go through and then you read. And you critically analyze. I knew my guy was going to know it. It's called the card catalog.
yes, yep, the card catalog.
Hey, yo, Brooklyn, stand up. Knew my guy was going to get it. My guy, Ed, boy, he be coming with the sneakers, the slippers, boy. You don't even be knowing. Anyway, the card catalog. And I remember having a conversation with one associate of mine, and I'm hitting him with all this information that he's never heard of. And he's like, you weren't there. How do you know it? Did Google tell you? Like he's trying to make fun of how I obtain the information. He's not touching on the fact that he don't know the information, that he's never heard of the information, and the fact that it sounds more logical than the bullcrap he was saying, that it contradicted all of the traditional information that was handed down to him from people that couldn't read because it was illegal to
Mm.
read. We have to not. Why are we afraid of information? It's a reason why it's being altered and hidden to keep you going and got you going in circles. Oh. Okay, that's it. I'm done because this will turn into a jukebox concert. Are you ready for the fun fact? Hopefully your 5G don't play us.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm ready for the
That is a fun fact.
Want to hear a fun fact?
It's like a fun fact.
Another fun fact.
Here's a fun fact.
Or not so
Fun fact.
Or here's another not so fun fact.
Not so much fun anymore, is it?
All right, so today I want to talk about development-induced displacement. So development-induced displacement, forced to leave their homes, in a development-driven form of forced migration. Historically, it has been associated with the construction of dams for hydroelectric power and irrigation, but it can also result from various development projects such as mining, agriculture, the creation of military installations, airports, industrial plants, weapon testing grounds, urbanization, conservation projects, and forestry. And with urbanization, we can only know what that is underlined to stand for, to mean, which is that of gentrification, which is also a form or falls under development induced displacement. So I wanted to talk about this because there is a story or movie, documentary, what have you, that is coming out in reference to Lake Lanier, right? So Lake Lanier was in Oscarville, Georgia, in Forsyth County. And in the early 1900s, 1,100 people were driven, our people were driven out of Oscarville, Georgia, because of basically a white mob driving them out due to, or as a result of, white women fragility and tears. Two incidents that involved the alleged raping of white women by black men. And then, angry mobs forced them out and tore down homes, did, all of the hateful stuff that they could do, and then built a lake. So I got to looking over Oscarville, Georgia, and Lake Lanier. And to my disbelief, not really, there have been over 100 of these type instances where there have been black settlements that have been built over, or are replaced by lakes. Another one was also that of Old Fairfield, Indiana, which in the 1800s, 1811, there were black settlers from North and South Carolina that already lived by what is Whitewater River, not to be confused with White River. They were already living riverside, and then white folks came in, pushed them out in 1965. Brooksville Lake or and dam or whatever, but I believe it's Brooksville Lake was built over that. And if you ask anybody today, or a lot of people that are there, that's in Franklin County. A lot of people don't know about that. They don't even they don't have a sign. They don't have nothing to even recognize that there was a settlement there. But here are just another some more of those, which is Coalaga. Now don't listen.
You supposed to clear your throat and mess the word up like go out like
Coalaga, Alabama, which is Lake Martin. York Hill, New York, which is now a reservoir. Henry and McKee Islands, which is Lake Guntersville, Alabama. Vanport, Oregon, which is Delta Park. Henry Island. Oh, okay, I already said that, which is, and then there's Kennett, Baird, Elmore, and Morley, California. There's Saboya, Sapinero, and Dillon, Colorado. Jerusalem, Connecticut. Round Valley, New Jersey. Warren, Maryland. Dana, Massachusetts. Enfield, Massachusetts. Greenwich, Massachusetts. Prentice, Mississippi. Brown Station, New York, and Old Neversink, New York. So these are just a few places in which dams or reservoirs or some form of body of water has been are now in place of what used to be black settlements, right? So you know, I also was in that form looking up that of the new term, which is gentrification induced displacement, being a form of development induced displacement. It essentially does the same thing. And it's what a lot of us are going through today. So there's a book that I read, and it was entitled White Rage by Carol Anderson. And one of her quotes in looking up this subject really stood out to me. And the statement or the quote is, "The trigger for white rage inevitably is black advancement. It is not the mere presence of black people that is the problem. Rather, it is a blackness with ambition, with drive, with purpose, with aspirations, and with demands for full and equal citizenship. It is blackness that refuses to accept subjugation, to give up." With the drowning out and the flooding out of these black settlements, one could only hold that quote to be true. And this will keep on happening unless there is some form of unification that happens, and we put our differences, our very mundane differences aside and unify. So that was my fun fact for today.
All right. Give it up for the fun fact, everybody. So, shout out to Lanice chiming in. She said it was sacred land. Everard said that's why there are so many accidents on Lake Lanier. So my question, or should I say my statement first off, is where's all the people that blame everything on conspiracy theory on this chat right now? Is there one? Is there one tonight?
Come on.
Is there one that wants to rid themselves of fear of the information because it destroys all the contradictive tradition that you've been fed? I guarantee you that in the times of all that was happening, when the people were like, hey, y'all know we didn't y'all know we didn't rape nobody. This is an excuse to do XYZ. And then there were people like, oh, you just a conspiracy theorist. Oh, you just a next thing you know, welcome to Lake Lanier. Bring your boats. Come fish. Where are the false claims of conspiracy theory, which when people say that, they're just acknowledging that they don't have any information. When you sit up and listen to the news, and it's so apparent, the news has never said anything good about you unless you running with a ball. A ball. You're dressed up in spandex. All your muscles is showing. You're dribbling. You're jumping over folks. You're throwing a ball in the hoop. They love you. You're dancing. You're twerking. You're singing. You're entertaining the people. Oh, they love you. Until you get close to power. They like, oh, hell no. In earlier news, such and such did such and such. And then everybody's like, oh, I hate such and such. And then when you mention, well, you know, they were pivoting into a powerful position to obtain. Oh, here you go with these conspiracy theories. Like, God damn it.
Always. And then for old Fairfield, like they came in, and like when the people were starting to relocate, when the black settlers were relocating or were forced to move, then like white villagers or the white residents in neighboring counties would come in the almost abandoned ghost town at the time, and walk into these people's houses, like, because most oftentimes when they were trying to find somewhere else to go, they couldn't do it all in one trip. So then you got to come back. So the white people would come into the neighborhoods, and then just
I'll take
willing,
that.
like, just, yeah, they walk into their houses and take their stuff. Oh, that looks nice. Take their stuff. And it was wild. It was wild.
I mean, how you think the museums get the stuff that they get? What's the commercial when the boy gets caught doing drugs? I learned it from watching you, Dad. So if the legislation, if the laws, if the organizations and institution wasn't a certain way, then people couldn't acquiesce to do the same things.
All of this stuff is just renamed.
That's all.
It's just renamed. Like when I was given like urbanization is gentrification, colonization. Like they're basically all the same thing and result in the same thing.
And so,
And that's displacement.
yeah. And so again, I challenge the institutions that we keep funneling our babies to that don't give this information. There's 3 pillars of information that every black body traditionally is circumvented through. That's the church, that's the school, and that's the home. Neither one of these gives you any of this information. Why? I was talking to some younger cat the other day, teaching him about passive income. They had never heard of it. How come nobody's ever told you? I mean, I'm not even getting to the teach part. I'm not even getting to the methods part. You've never heard the term passive income? You've been to school 12 years. Your parents make sure you go to church every Sunday. Some of y'all only go on Easter, but hey, nonetheless. And your schools tell you to worship George Washington. But when anybody gives you any information, the word, the phrase that comes in with all blinking lights with with damn cologne and perfume on it, with sirens and club music, is conspiracy theorist. And some of this stuff is so fundamentally basic. Nobody's told you about this. So let's break it down. The information that you're living off of right now, unless you've had some type of awakening that caused you to be hungry for information, is slave information. When you go back to your great-grandparents' parents, when they were children, to when their parents were children, it was illegal to read. And you probably couldn't even speak the language because you couldn't read. Most of the rappers today, a lot of them can't read. That's why they can't rap. You have to have words to rap.
That's the younger generation. A lot of the older generation who play ignorant can read, but they choose.
Listen.
They choose to be ignorant.
You get Plies on an interview. He goes from, man, I told him to get that yike, man. Yes, so, yeah, the other day, the news, it was partly cloudy. 85 Fahrenheit. What? You find that a lot of those cats growing up there, they had bachelor's degree. David Banner he's dang near got a doctor. What, he got a master's, MBA or something?
I think so. It might be a doctorate. I can't remember, but Titty Boy too.
Yeah, even though David Banner is one of the few rappers that has elevated into scholarship to actually desire information. But there's a lot of people
to the people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that got degrees that are dumb as hell anyway.
Yeah, it is.
But it's just, man, when I'm talking to the younger generation, it's always baffling because we didn't have the resources that they have. If we would have had YouTube, Google, LinkedIn Learning, if we would have had what's another one? Mary, is it Mary.com? Lynda.com. I don't know why I got Mary. If we had resources like that, first of all, we wouldn't need to buy books. Second of all, we can study right then and there. You can take notes via your computer, taking the talk notes and translating into words. Like, there is no reason why in 2021 the generations, even though the younger generations, more of them are running towards the light of information. This is why you see a lot more pressure thrown on us, because it's like, it's go time. They finally starting to wake up. We like in the we still in that stage. But when I was coming up, we was like like we had our hands behind our back, like just twiddling our toes. That's how asleep we were.
We was in the don't wake me, I'm dreaming.
Girl, don't wake me. I'm talking about, I went to a church where I grew up in a church where a pastor bragged about only having a 4th grade education. That's how asleep we were.
Seriously?
We had adults following a 4th grader. That's how asleep we were. And now we're at a point where, again, we're starting to, but every one of those, you hear conspiracy theories, so the body will be like, oh, fuck, it's time to go back to sleep. I'm enjoying this sleep. Shit. This is delicious.
Delicious.
And it takes arguments, which I don't argue no more. It takes all these back and forths for when it finally happens. When you look at the person that called you conspiracy theory, it hurts to say I told you so. It hurts.
I don't even say it.
Because at this point, it's too late.
Yep.
It's too late. I told you so. My man Joe Barnes, what's up? He said facts. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to the South Side of Naptown. Gotta give y'all some love. That Norwood reunion, it was beautiful to see a lot of the guys that I grew up with as children, as look at them as adults, as family men. It was beautiful seeing. I didn't get to see Joe. Joe, love you, brother. Hope everything's well with you. But yeah, and then you find, and here's what I tell my loved ones. I say, listen carefully to the people that have something to gain from telling you stuff. There is a reason, there is an agenda why they're feeding you this information. Now, I'm feeding you information that's logical, that makes sense, that you can actually touch. I'm not asking you for no money. I don't even live by you. I love you. I love you. That's the only exchange that we have here is love. But you denounce this information because it contradicts that information where they don't love you. You are a number to them with no value. You're a placeholder to them. My loved ones, my friends, y'all are life to me. You're air. I love you. I don't have any reason to lie to you. And I'm not asking you for the money. Now, if you want to give me $5, I mean, hey. Why is $5 always the, hey, let me hold on to $5. I mean, $5 is a good number. You got $5?
Put your cash app at the bottom of the screen at that point.
I mean, if you got what they say on Southwest, I flew out a couple months ago, and they was talking about how you have to wear a mask. It's federally mandated to wear the mask on the plane. If you don't want to wear it, that's a $20,000 fine. And the dude said, now, if you have $20,000 to throw away, I'm going to give you guys my cash app right now. And I was like, my man, I feel that. I feel that. But it's always interesting that the internet shows you all these things that have been purposefully. That means on purpose. That means intentionally. Mm-hmm. That means if it was murder, it would be premeditated. And that would be a worse charge. It was hidden from you on purpose. But yet and still, we take our babies that we claim that are the most precious things to us, and we hand it over to institutions and organizations that have historically done the exact same thing. And then when the people love you, come and give you some information that will be more beneficial to you and to your legacy, you Heisman Trophy them. Remember the muff? Mm-hmm. You muff them. Get out my face. I don't know why this stuff keeps disappearing. Might be my 5G too, even though we ain't got 5G. You hear me? And all those lands, all those and there's so many stories like that. You missed a whole bunch.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like you look at what's the park in New York? Central Park?
You talking about Seneca Village?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a part of the displacement as well. Yeah. Yeah. So the people from York Hill, that was right outside of Seneca Village. So those people relocated to the neighboring black settlement, which was Seneca Village, which is now what is it? Times Square, or what
Central
is the
Park.
park?
Central
Park. Yeah.
It is Central Park.
Yes, it's Central Park.
I was about to say I'm about to pull up Google.
No, it was Central Park. Yeah.
I'm quick draw McGraw with Google.
Yep. So York Hill was just, I think a lot of people were waking up to Seneca Village and Central Park, but there was a neighboring black settlement, York Hill, that was also displaced, and they had to relocate, or they were pushed out uh to Seneca. So yeah, I know I missed a lot. Definitely.
It would take longer than what we have to actually
Yes.
tell it. So with all that being said, what are the solutions? Tell me. I want some of my audience members to join in on this one. Somebody, anybody, everybody, scream. Let's go over some solutions. I mean, because we've been in the fourth quarter down a million points for a long time. The catch is, if there's any potential, if there's any possibility of us getting back in the game, of us overcoming these obstacles, if there is any chance, it's not hope. Hope is not it. Hope has been a crutch that has been forced, or not, has been eloquently drizzled in there to lull you back to sleep. It's not hope. What happens if you need to get somewhere and you sitting hoping that a car come get you? What happens typically?
You just gonna be there.
You're not going to go where you're going. But what happens when you actually get off of your ass and get putting them feet in front of one another out of desperation?
You get to moving.
When you get to moving, you get to that place, right? So
Yeah.
we're not at a place of hope. What are some solutions? Joe said hope floats.
Boy, up Shit's Creek without a paddle.
Yeah, hope sinks.
But um but I think that, like I said before, unity is a big thing.
How do you get to
But
unity?
we also have to a common ground, a foundation of common ground. And we, like, without including all of we know that we're not a monolith. We know that all of us are different, come from different backgrounds, but there are there is still that oneness that we have, and that we need to come to that point of saying, okay, well, yeah, this is our foundation, this is what we need to stand upon and fight for it, and come together and on that. Like, it's too much other stuff that we have right now that is dividing us, and it's very pointless, and that we keep going round and round and back and forth over the same stuff. Like, it's too much. And then we also need to realize that in that oneness, we all have different qualities and strengths that we can bring together in a movement. Not everybody is a panther.
Right.
Not everybody is, not even everybody is a member of SNCC. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody, like, so everybody has these different qualities. You have the farmers out there who's growing things, and you have people out here providing clothing. You have people out here that's feeding people. Like, we need to take those qualities, those different people, bring all of those people together and say, okay, so now how do we combine this and make it solid for and sacred to us, to just us. Get back and don't let nobody discourage you into believing otherwise, because there's so many things out there right now that will deter you, and is meant to deter you from your blackness, that will have you questioning whether, well, like, I feel like money now, the grants and stuff that are being given in different cities for different black organizations, but it's always a catch. You can be black, but you have to focus on inclusivity. You can be black, but you have to be black and a woman. You can be black but you have to be Black and a part of the LGBTQIA plus community. You could be Black. Like there's not like we have to unify in that we like when we say Black, that's what the hell we mean. We not worried about all that other stuff. We need to bring that together and our strengths within that community, bring it together and make it do what it do and start to build upon group economics and let that be and let that circumvent and continue to permeate throughout our community, or else we'll continue to be in this rut. I talk about Black advancement all the time. That shit is real. The minute you start to progress, there's going to be something that, I mean, there's always going to be obstacles, but then there's that larger obstacle that sees you being bigger than you see you being bigger. And you got to understand why. The reason why they're doing that is because they see the potential in you that you don't see in yourself. And that's when your community comes into play and they realize that too. So then we need to protect one another. That's, you know what?
You know
I
when
could
you're on the
go on
road
and
when
on.
you like, see, we have to the circumvent and then the permeation of a hip hop nation. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But then, so all that is great. Let's see what Joe say. He said, and we can start by not calling ourselves Black but melanated people. I hope I spelled it correctly. Yeah, but all of that stuff.
And see, that right there is, and forgive me, but I know that there are people in my community like who honestly that they are just now coming into the term in that of melanated. So that is that's one of those things that like we, myself and you, was it Joe?
Yeah, Joe Barnes.
Was it okay? So you realize that, and there are a group of us that realize that we are melanated as well, but there are other people who don't, but they identify as Black. There are several others that identify in Black. There are Africans that come here and are told that they are Black. So then, you know, that like that is the knowledge of self that we have to come in to realize as well. But the foundation, like we know that that's just like that whole like veganism. Some people say, no, I'm plant-based, I'm this, that, the other. Then, you know, all of these products come out as being vegan. Like it's still a large portion of us that only know what vegan is. So then you got to grab them people. Oh, okay. Grab them people. Same with Black. Oh, okay. So you identify. Oh, okay. Let me grab you. Let me grab you. Now let's talk. And then that's when you give them those seeds. You plant those seeds of us being melanated beings. But then if we start off with that, is when you start that divide. And that's just my opinion. Those are some of the small things that you have to uh for that moment in trying to grasp the people that you love. Those are one of those things that, okay, well, it ain't time yet. Let me get them first, and then once I got them, all right, let me tell you who we are. So that's just my opinion on that.
So, out of what everybody has said, everybody's right. There's layers to it. What everybody has said equates to the final product. In order to get to a blossomed fruit, vegetable, plant,
Mm-hmm.
you have to first fertilize the dirt.
Plant the seed.
Before you
gotta
plant the
plant the
seed,
seed.
you got to get the
Yeah,
environment right.
yeah. Yep, yep.
Then you plant the
Yep.
seed. Then you
Then you
nourish the
plant the
seed.
seed.
So, as pertaining to what you and Joe was just talking about, you have all these organizations that pull us apart. I'm not black. I'm not African. I'm this. I'm that.
That video that I tried to send you, and you was like, it ain't coming through because it's a private video.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly what that video was about. The video was entitled "Trying to Bring Black Folk Together,"
Mm-hmm.
and then you had a whole bunch of people in like it was the teacher standing in front, and he was like, "All right, so we have this black meeting together. We're calling together," and then you have a whole bunch of people in the back. I'm not black. I'm more. I am not this. You know what I mean? You have all of these people that's raising their hand, and then that just causes so much. It causes division.
Which
It
is why you
does.
were introduced to a lot of those in the first place. Malcolm X says, black folks need to come together on one accord. Put all of your religions on the shelf. Deal with the common denominator first. Get that out the way. And then let's go decide whose God works and whose don't. Or who organization works and whose don't. I mean, you look at history, none of them work, but it's the individuals that actually. But anyway, there's a book. There's a book called They Came Before Columbus.
Mm.
The African Presence in Ancient America by Ivan Van Sertima. For all these people that I'm not black and I'm not African. And they say it just like that. I'm not black and I'm not. That's how I hear it when they say it. When I hear them say it, they sound like Boss Hog to me. I'm not black and I'm not African.
Yeah, the first time you sounded like you had some issues. Throat issues.
Yeah. Hold on. So, yeah. Its laws and what you call yourself is deeper than what you speak. Yeah, we get that.
It is.
It is. When you call yourself black under the law, you're not represented. You're null and void. You're not counted. I understand all that.
And we get that, and that goes under the corporation of the United States. We get that.
Yeah, that's accurate. I'm talking about on a social level, we so divided with I'm not black and I'm not African. I'm American. Like I had somebody tell me, I know who I am. And I was like, where did your grandparents come from? Oh, no. But you know who you are. You think you from Detroit. You think your origin started in Motor City, don't you? Right by Buick. See, where I'm from, I'm right around the corner from Buick, GM, Chrysler, Chevrolet. That's where I'm from. Oh, really? But anyway, they came before Columbus. These books aren't going to be taught in school. These books aren't going to be taught in church. But they damn sure should be taught in your black home. Turn off your TV. You know, growing up in a cult, the one thing that I can say that experience did positively for me was that I don't have a need to watch television. I'm not addicted to television. I've dated a couple women where they be like, don't call me around this time because that's when my show is on. I don't give a damn about your show. I'm trying to, so you ain't trying to talk? Well, let me find somebody else that does.
Okay.
Since you have to watch your ratchet, and let me say something about ratchetness and trapness, and those are intellectual
or the
viruses.
Basics of sports. No, I'm watching the game. Man. I got to watch.
We was almost out. We was almost fully awakened until the NFL season started last year. Folks was like, football. Oh shit, nigga, I'm going back to sleep. Boy, this is gonna be a season for your ass. You see how much they paying such and such?
Listen.
I had a guy tell me, man, it's hard not to watch football. And I was like, hey man, I'm not telling you to watch it. I'm just saying I'm not watching. But you know what's hard for me? Not drinking water, not breathing. That's hard for me. Television is easy. My television stays off for the majority of the time.
I was so close to being able to have some decent conversations. Some decent conversations. And then them sports started back up, and baby.
They was like, "Oh my gosh, we're losing traction. Invoke the football. Bring the pigskin out. Bring the basketball too. Bring them both out. We got to get our claws back in them."
No, we was just reading 2 weeks ago.
Man, you had cats not shopping at Starbucks. Now everybody's back on social media with their cups and they points. I'm like, oh, so whew. How your boy do?
What?
The dude on social media, he was like, want to be free? Throw in football. They will not want to be free again. But yeah, it starts with the earth. Then it starts with the seed. Then it starts with the nurturing. When I get to thinking, I want to get away from people in a lot of cases because I'm looking back like, dang, I'm probably toxic in certain instances. Let me back up. I don't want to be that person. Mm-hmm. And then they take that as being funny when they ain't heard from me from 2 years or something. I'm like, listen, I just want to give you some space. I'm just playing. Oh, man. But, yeah, it's imperative. It is imperative. I remember asking my grandmother when I started learning about actual history that had been hidden from us. And my grandmother was a school teacher, retired school teacher now. And she was very stickler on education. In the summertime, we could play, but then after a certain time, all right, come on in here. We got some workbooks for y'all. Mm-hmm. And when I got to learning about integration and how during integration, we gave up every ounce of leverage we had because we had our own baseball teams. We had our own basketball team. Like, we had our own banks. We had everything. Although they were underfunded in some cases because we were working our ways up in the midst of the turmoil and the systemic racism that was right in your face. It was like this. We were still on the up and up. And we gave that up for integration, which nobody ever quotes Martin Luther King, but except a few people. Martin Luther King says, I fear I have integrated my people into a burning building because he saw that we had given away all our leverage. So I asked my grandma, I said, so grandma, what's your opinion about integration? She had never spoke on this. She is a teacher. She taught Black history. She never came back to the tribe and taught us any of this stuff. And out of her mouth, she says it was one of the worst things that happened for Black people. I was like, wow. Wow. I mean, I see that now that I'm in a 300-400 class college course that I got to repay.
Whoa.
I should have learned this close to when I was just learning how to walk. Because that would have taught you how to spend your money. That would have taught me to, hey, I need to make sure that I'm making this dollar circulate amongst us like every other group comprehends except for us. We've chosen psychologically, socially engineered to choose merchandise over morals. Was the worst move ever made, but I understand what they tried it because we were. Yeah, it was a hard time.
Yeah.
It was a hard time. And they had sacrificed a lot. So, I mean, you look at the bus boycott, 188 days. What was said, 16% of the people participating in the boycott. It was so profound that it almost collapsed the entire Alabama economy. And then we got back on the bus, and then they put the other foot on our necks. And so information and history is not to teach you to hate nothing. It's to teach you to, okay, we missed some steps back here that caused us a great loss, an even greater loss because it took us away from those few steps away from freedom that we had. It threw us all the way back to the starting point. So then that should tell the younger generation, okay, study the mistakes and the missteps of your previous selves and don't make those same mistakes. You're going to make some mistakes in life. That's what life is about. Success is about how much failure or how much loss or how many no's you've accrued. It's a lot. When you look at whatever you deem to be successful, those people heard nothing but no's. No, 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 no. It turned into a song. No, 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 no. With a 90s R&B song. Hit you with a no, 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 no. But we don't want to even look at our previous selves, which is disrespectful. You're disrespecting yourself. You're lacking pride in who you are based off of who you come from. The purpose of history, John Henry Clark says, the purpose of history is to show you who you once were so you'll be who you're supposed to be now and in the future. I'm paraphrasing. So I hope we've sparked something into our listeners today. I appreciate everybody for coming out. I'm going to turn into what's my man's name?
Thank y'all for coming out.
Good
God
night.
bless. Good night.
Good night. God bless.
Good night. God bless.
Yeah. And this is
Russell
to all.
Simmons.
This is to all the people that have children. It is your responsibility. It's not the school's responsibility. It's not the church's responsibility. It's your responsibility as the parent. You brought this precious baby in the world. It is your responsibility to indoctrinate the minds of those babies. And the indoctrination should promote life and abundance to your children. And one's abundance should not hamper anyone else's abundance. One's happiness should not murder anybody. One's happiness should not inconvenience anybody. If you're happy and you know it, wave your hand. That don't hurt. That don't hurt. But when your happiness hurts people, that's not happiness. That's something else. What Lydia says, we struggle with letting go of the world that they've allowed us to experience.
Mm-hmm.
Mother and father are the first teachers. Mother and father are the first teachers. And I know I'm going to be stepping out of pocket for this because I don't have kids. And I know that a lot of us have had babies with dysfunctional people because we were raised in dysfunctional environments. But to all the fathers out there and to all the mothers, even if you cannot get along with each other, fine. Respectively, in your both lanes, you should be feeding your child something intellectually stimulating that would help them be better versions of themselves, because they are not only a reflection of you, they are a part of you as you are a part of them. And you should want the absolute best for them. It's not about y'all no more. It's about them. I beg y'all to come together and be parents.
Yeah.
You don't have to like one another. Be parents for the kids. Stop blaming, well, it's her fault. Well, it's his fault. It's both y'all faults. Them kids didn't ask to be here. Sometimes I think when life gets a little rough for me, I used to think, man, if I could go back in time and and get my daddy away from my mama, hey, you get away from her. I don't want to be in this hellacious realm. I want to be over here in Mars or wherever we was at before we got caught. Our numbers got called to come to this realm. I used to be like, I didn't ask to be here. That used to be my thought. I didn't ask to be here. And so learn from your previous selves. Learn from your previous selves. Put your ego away. Take the battery out the back of the narcissist. Invoke pride in yourself and who you used to be. Look at Ev. Ev got me. Look, man, you sure don't have kids. But again, bro, I didn't say like the person. I didn't say that. Listen, I've seen some dysfunctional situations. I'm like, ugh. It's like you want to give your receipt. Like, can I get my sperm back?
Or
Listen, I
here,
made
you
a
can have
bad
it.
purchase. Can I speak to the manager? I need to return any connection to the. I get that, and I know it's easier said than done. But
Yes.
we are at a point. We are at a point where it's that division between the masculine and the feminine energy that has left our kids vulnerable and susceptible to an enormous amount of self-hate that looks almost unresolvable. So nobody's going to come to save you. Nobody's going to come and fix this. It's up to us to fix it. It's up to us to come together. It's up to us to resolve these differences and squash these differences. Or it's not going to happen. Now you tell yourself as a collective, as individuals, okay, so if it's not going to happen, then what is going to happen? You see the engine revving up right now. That's a damn Hemi engine behind that thing too. Blugga 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 blugga. And we sitting here like twerk something, yin yang in the stain. Yin yang in the stain in the background here. Blugga 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 blugga. Hey, put them crates up there. Blugga 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 blugga. And one more thing before I go. Dr. John Henry Clarke also says, and I'm paraphrasing that, it's in a speech, if the organizations and the institutions or the tools that you're using aren't benefiting you culturally, if they're not benefiting your pursuit to liberation, freedom, they must be thrown in the trash of existence. So everybody individually, you ain't got to tell me nothing. You ain't got to argue with me or debate me. Look at all the institutions and organizations that you are under their guidance. Take a list and write out what has it done for us since we were introduced to these institutions and organizations. How close have these organizations and institutions got us to freedom? And don't say, well, we couldn't get there because everybody wasn't on board. We've been in these institutions long enough, and they have a lot of us intertwined in there. What has been done? And before you put your kids in these institutions or organizations, how is it going to benefit not just your baby? How is it going to benefit the group? She says, what have you done for me lately but give me promises? Ooh, yeah. Empty promises, the illusion of inclusion. Just wait, it's coming. It's coming. Just sign up.
That's one of my favorite phrases.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming, Joe Biden. It's coming. It's coming. Everybody signed up to be a part of their own demise and their own destruction. So get to it, ladies and gentlemen. Get to your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be productive. Get that soil right. And get some seeds. Mm-hmm. Somebody watched my show one time. They told me, "You sound like you think you perfect." Oh, is that what that sound like? That's what it sound like. I'm not perfect.
I'm petty. I was getting ready to say something.
I'm hell on wheels. But knowledge is said to be power. Knowledge is not power by itself. Knowledge is only power when it's applied. And knowledge is wisdom applied. Come on, somebody. Now let's raise it all from a cash app.
$.
Right. Jamil Dollar. Call me Reverend Jamil Dollar. Can I get a plane? Anyway, hey, that has been the show. Quiana, do you have any final words for this Saturday, August 28th?
I just want to say, be on the lookout, those who are locally, for a small initiative that I'm kicking off for Classic in regards to those of your family and friends who have gardens and are growing vegetables, because now it's time to get them things harvested, get them in the house. Nice little healthy cook-off. So be on the lookout for that. And that's all I got to say about that.
And that's another thing. Y'all go out and y'all start growing you some food. Be accountable. Grow you some food. Learn you some stuff. YouTube in there is there for you. All right. So with no further ado, that has been our show. I want to thank everybody for chiming in. Everybody that showed up, I want to thank you. And I hope to see you again next Saturday. The same morning show time and channel. Thank y'all for coming out. Enjoy your weekend and see you next week.
You are now listening to the Jamil Harley Morning Show.